Assalamu alaikum. A very good evening to everybody. I hope all of you are doing great. All of you are enjoying your time. I'm extremely sorry to bother you this during this time. I mean at night. Uh, Inshallah, our next lecture will be held on Friday. Uh, according to the schedule, inshallah. So I hope all of you are doing great. Till now, only 13 students have joined during the last lecture. As far as I can remember, more than 25 students joined the class. And till now, we have around 30 students for this course, Continental Literature 2. During our last lecture, we finished our introductory discussion on this course, and we also had a look at the summary of the novella, that is The Outsider or The Stranger. We will call it The Outsider, as we follow the British. We already came to know during our last lecture that this novel is regarded as, named The Stranger by the Americans and The Outsider by the British people. And at the time of reading the text, we will try our best to remember some things. Redmi Note 5. Redmi Note 5, please mute your mic. I have muted you. Please don't unmute yourself. So we will start going through the going through the text of the novella today. We will not read it line by line, but we will focus on the main points, and we will try to find out the elements. We will try to find out the ideas or the sentences or the, I mean, some lines from the texts that are related to humanism, existentialism, absurdism, and nihilism. Most of these, all these terms actually focus on the same kind of ideas, same kind of philosophical ideas that we came to know during our last lecture, and we will have a look on these ideas again today, before going into the, going through the texts. Okay, now let us start reading the texts. There is a special kind of interest, or there is a special kind of enjoyment in reading the texts. Texts, I mean the materials written by the writer himself or herself. লেখক যে ভাষায় যেটা লিখেছেন সেইটা মানে পড়ার মজা সবসময় একটু ভিন্ন ধরনের হয়। Let us read. Before reading, let me tell you something about humanism, as we will try to find out the elements of these philosophical ideas from the texts we are going to read now. Humanism is a rationalist outlook or system of thought attaching prime importance to human rather than divine or supernatural matters. That is, humanism emphasizes or gives emphasis on humanity rather than divine or supernatural matters. সবার উপরে মানুষ সত্য, তাহার উপরে নাই। হিউম্যানিজমের মূল কথা হচ্ছে এটা। ইভেন অনেক সময় ডিভাইন বা সুপারন্যাচারাল এলিমেন্টের চাইতেও মানুষের গুরুত্ব অনেকটা বেশি। This is the slogan of humanism. Then existentialism, a philosophical theory or approach which emphasizes the existence of the individual person as a free and responsible agent determining their own development through acts of the will. Existentialism. This refers to the existence of the individual person. That is, the main focus of existentialism is on individuality. individual person, not on, on all together. Individual person matters a lot. Individually, everybody or everyone has everyone has got important role in the society to play. So this is the slogan of existentialism. Absurdism and nihilism almost same. Absurdism, the belief that human beings exist in a purposeless, chaotic universe. This is the main idea of absurdism. Nihilism almost same. Nihilism refers to the rejection of all religious and moral principles in the belief that life is meaningless. Actually, basically, we will find here humanism, absurdism, and nihilism in this text. We will try to find out. Let us read the very first paragraph. Mother died today, or maybe yesterday. I can't be sure. The telegram from the home says, from the home means from the home for the old, from the old home. Old home মানে হচ্ছে বৃদ্ধাশ্রম. The speaker, we have already come to know the name of the speaker. The name of the speaker here in the novella is Marsault. Marsault is saying that he has got a telegram from the home. From the home means from the old home. And the letter, the telegram says, your mother passed away, funeral tomorrow, deep sympathy. This, three expressions, not three sentences. He receives, maybe 1 day or 2 days after his mother died. So which leaves the matter doubtful. It could have been yesterday. মা মারা গেছে আজকে অথবা গতকালকে. I am not sure about it. So I got a telegram from the old home. Old homeটা কি? Old homeটা হলো বৃদ্ধাশ্রম. সেখানে তার মাকে সে রেখেছিল. He kept his mother in the old home because he was unable to take care of her. He was unable to take care of his mother as he was a student and he didn't have any time. So look at the sentence here. Mother died today or maybe yesterday. Why today and why? Has the speaker used the word maybe? Why maybe? মায়ের খবর, he didn't have any time to take care of his mother. He didn't have any time to be sure about the exact time of the death of his mother. So his mother has died and he is saying maybe yesterday or today. I am not sure. The telegram only says that your mother passed away, funeral tomorrow. Deep sympathy. The telegram doesn't say that whether he has to go, whether he has to attend the funeral or not. তাকে funeral যেতে হবে নাকি যেতে হবে না. The telegram does not say this also. So Albert Camus, it is a threat to the society where human beings live in hope of or in quest of so many things. Human beings live in the society where there is a bond of relationship among human beings. But here, this line, this paragraph, the very first 3 lines or the very first paragraph of this novella, it is a threat to the society. Albert Camus. Actually, this is the philosophy of Albert Camus, and Marsault has been used as a mouthpiece of Albert Camus. Albert Camus mouthpiece হিসেবে Marsault কে ব্যবহার করে his philosophy he has tried his best to establish in the society. I kick the society, I kick out the social values where human beings don't have any value, any honor, any important role to play. That society I don't like. This kind of a statement also indicates the rejection of morality, the rejection of religious and moral principles in belief that life is meaningless. So these 3 lines, the very first paragraph also indicates that the human life is meaningless. Human life is nothing. This idea, meaninglessness of life or absurdism or nihilism will be clear with the gradual study of the novella. The next paragraph, the home for aged persons is at Marengo. Marengo is the name of a place some 50 miles from Algiers. Algiers is the capital city of Algeria. So 50 miles away from Algiers, this old home is situated. With the 2 o'clock bus, I should get there well before nightfall. Then I can spend the night there, keeping the usual vigil beside the body, and be back here by tomorrow evening. I have fixed up with my employer for 2 days leave. Obviously, under the circumstances, he could not refuse. Still, I had an idea. He looked annoyed, and I said without thinking, sorry, sir, but it is not my fault, you know. Look, he was working in a place and he has already decided to take 2 days leave. And he's thinking that, I mean, considering the circumstances, the boss of the office will not refuse. Still, he had an idea, and he looked annoyed. Who looked annoyed? The boss of the office. The boss of the office looked annoyed, and he said, without thinking, "Sorry, sir, but it is not my fault, you know." Look, his mother has died, but the boss of the office felt annoyed when Marshall asked him to grant 2 days leave for him. তার জন্য যখন ছুটি চাইলো যাওয়ার জন্য, সে ছুটি দিতে একটু বিরক্তি বোধ করলো। Why? This is a situation where human beings don't have any hand. এটা এমন একটা পরিস্থিতি যেখানে মানুষের কোনো হাত নেই, তাহলে মানুষ কি ছুটি পেতে পারে না? How meaningless human life, I mean, is created in the society where Albert Camus lived. মানুষের জীবনকে এত তুচ্ছ মনে করা হতো সেই সমাজে, যে সমাজে আলবার্ট কামু বাস করেছে। Sorry, sir, but it is not my fault, you know. Look, this kind of sentence. Look, sorry, sir, but it is not my fault, you know. এটা আমার দোষ না। এটা বলতে হবে কেন? Why does Marshall have to, I mean, make this kind of statement? It is not my fault. এটা আমার দোষ না। God has taken the life of my mother. Is he making any accusation against God, against Allah? God এর বিরুদ্ধে কি সে কোনো মানে অভিযোগ দাঁড় করাচ্ছে? It is not my fault. আমার তো এতে কোনো হাত নাই, আমার মা মারা গিয়েছে, এখানে কার কি করার আছে? Why should Marshall make this kind of statement? I don't know, maybe this is I mean, another idea, another statement that rejects the religious principles here. কেন ছুটি দেবে না? বস ছুটি দেবে না, এটা কোনো কথা হলো? ছোট্ট একটা let me tell you something practical that I have met with in my life. When I was in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, you know that I taught there for around 13 years. One of my colleagues, his son was only 6 months old, and the unfortunate newborn son had some problem in his heart. So it was needed open heart surgery for the baby. So the couple, I mean the parents of the baby, they came to India from Saudi Arabia. They are Bangladeshi people, and they took 2 days leave and came to India to finish the open heart surgery, and they became able to take an appointment from Dr. Devi Shetty, the world famous cardiologist in as most of you know, I think. They finished the surgery and they went there, and they were late only for 2 days, and they were terminated because they were late only for 2 days. The university did not understand that it was not on their hand. It was not on their hand. Only 2 days late they were. They took leave, I mean, for 14 days, and they reached the kingdom on 17th day. That is 2 days late they were, and their their excuse was not accepted by the University of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Can you imagine? ছোট্ট একটা ছেলে তার হার্ট সার্জারি করে 14 দিনের ছুটি নিয়ে প্যারেন্টস এখানে আসলো। 14 দিনের ছুটি নিয়ে প্যারেন্টসরা আসলো। 16 দিন থেকে 17 দিনের মাথায় সৌদি আরবে ফিরে গেল। It happened in 2019. But university terminated the jobs of the parents. ওই বেবিটা 6 মাস বয়স ছিল। তার হার্টে ছিদ্র ধরা পড়েছিল এবং সেখানে যাওয়ার পরে তাদের দুজনকে টার্মিনেট করে দিল, চাকরি থাকলো না। And we tried our best to fight against the university in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and we became successful because law works there properly. আমরা চেষ্টা করেছিলাম সেখানে ভালোভাবে চেষ্টা করেছিলাম। আমরা কোর্টে গিয়েছিলাম এবং we became successful. কোর্ট আমাদের পক্ষে রায় দিয়েছিল এবং বলেছিল it was not at their hand, it was totally at the hand of the God himself. এটা পুরোটাই গডের হাতে ছিল, আল্লাহর হাতে ছিল। সুতরাং they had nothing to do. But university authority, they did not understand this at the beginning. This situation people are facing in their day-to-day life. যখন এটা আপনি নিজে ফেস করবেন, আপনার then life will seem meaningful to you also. The wearer knows best where the shoe pinches. This is a proverb. এটা একটা প্রবাদ বাক্য। এই কথাগুলো আলবার্ট কামু লিখলো because I think in his lifetime he suffered, and for this reason he has found no meaning of life. এজন্য জীবনের কোনো অর্থ তার কাছে ছিল না। যাই হোক, আমি মনে হয় একটু গল্প করে ফেললাম। আমরা লাইন বাই লাইন পড়বো না, শেষ করব 2-3টা ক্লাসে। ওকে, এরপরে কি? Afterwards it struck me I need not have said that. I had no reason to excuse myself. It was up to him to express his sympathy and so forth. Probably he will do so the day after tomorrow when he sees me in black. For the present, it is almost as if mother weren't really dead. The funeral will bring it home to me, put an official seal on it, so to speak. Okay. One thing I want to know from you, have you bought any book, please? আপনারা কি কোনো বই কিনেছেন? Have you bought any book, please?
No, sir.
Text বই কেউ কিনে? কিনলে ভালো। Please try to buy a book. Okay. The third paragraph is about the boss of the office. He is saying, Marshall is saying that he should have expressed his condolence for my mother's death, but he did not do that.
No, sir.
Maybe he will do that after tomorrow, after I come back from the funeral. This is not important. Look, I took the 2 o'clock bus. It was a blazing hot afternoon. I had launched as usual at Celeste's restaurant. Everyone was most kind, and Celeste said to me, there is no one like a mother. When I left, they came with me to the door. It was something of a rush getting away, as at the last moment I had to call in at Emmanuel's place to borrow his black tie and mourning band. He lost his uncle a few months ago. So at the time of going to the old home, I had to going to Marengo. Marengo is a city, you know that, as I have already told you. So at the time of going there, he had to spend some time at a hotel, Celeste's restaurant, and there is no one like a mother. Some people from the restaurant, they came to know about the death of his mother, and they expressed their consolation for his mother's death. Then I had to run to catch the bus. I suppose it was my hurrying like that, hot with the glare of and the road from the sky, the reek of gasoline and the jolts. These are the atmosphere. How does it look like at the time of going by the bus? Anyhow, I slept most of the way. Look at the sentence. Anyhow, I slept most of the way. How can a man whose mother has died sleep I mean, sound sleep, sitting on a bus. How can a man, when can a man sleep a sound sleep, even though his mother has died and he is going to attend the funeral of his mother and he is sleeping a sound sleep, sitting on the bus? Underline these lines if you have the pen, if you have the text with you. Anyhow, I slept most of the way. সারা পথ আমি ঘুমিয়েছিলাম। কিভাবে একজন মানুষ ঘুমায় যার মা মারা গেছে, জানাজায় শরীক হওয়ার জন্য সে যাচ্ছে, বাট হি ওয়াজ I slept most of the way. পথের বেশিক্ষণই আমি ঘুমিয়েছিলাম। When I woke, I was leaning against a soldier. I was leaning against a soldier. He grinned and asked me if I had come from a long way off, and I just nodded to cut things short. I was not in a mood for talking. Look, he felt annoyed. He felt disturbed when somebody was asking about him, asking about what happened with him. Is there anything wrong with him? Lean মানে ঠেস দিয়ে, মানে হেলান দিয়ে বসে, একজন মানুষের সাথে গায়ে হেলান দিয়ে বসে আছে, গা লাগিয়ে। That man was asking him about what happened with him and is there anything wrong happened with him, but he was not in a mood to talk to him. That may be, I mean, this may be accepted. This kind of behavior might be or may be accepted. But how can a man whose mother has already died sleep a sound sleep sitting in the bus? You ask yourself and try to find out the answer. The home is a little over a mile from the village. এটা আপনারা জানেন, গ্রাম থেকে একটু দূরে। I went there on foot. I asked to be allowed to see mother at once, but the doorkeeper told me I must see the warden first. Warden means the responsible person of the old home. বৃদ্ধাশ্রমের যে দায়িত্বপ্রাপ্ত ব্যক্তি তাকে ওয়ার্ডেন বলা হয়। He was not free and I had to wait a bit. The doorkeeper chatted with me while I waited. Then he led me to the office. The warden was a very small man with gray hair and a Legion of Honor rosette in his buttonhole. I mean, this kind of dress he was wearing. He gave me a long look with his watery blue eyes. Then we shook hands and he held mine so long that I began to feel embarrassed. After that, he consulted a register on his table and said, Madame Marsault. Madame Marsault entered the house 3 years ago. Madame Marsault means Mrs. Marsault, the mother of Marsault. She is being called Madame Marsault. Entered the home means old home. 3 years ago, she had no private means and depended entirely on you. She had no private means and depended entirely on you. তার অন্য কেউ ছিল না আপনারা ছাড়া, তোমরা ছাড়া। তার ছেলেকে বলা হচ্ছে, I had a feeling he was blaming me for something and he started to explain, but he cut me short. Look, I had a feeling he was blaming me. He was blaming me. আমার মনে হচ্ছিল যে লোকটা আমাকে বলতেছিল, ওই ওয়ার্ডেন, he was blaming me because I did not take care of my mother. For this reason, the warden may blame me. The warden actually did not blame him, but this man had a feeling that the warden was blaming him. Why? The warden was not blaming him, but Marsault had a feeling that maybe the warden was blaming him because he did not look after his mother. So this line, I would say here, my explanation for this line would be like that. A man who has committed a crime is always afraid of the police. চোরের মন পুলিশ পুলিশ একটা কথা বলে না, সেরকম চোরের মন পুলিশ পুলিশ। He has done he has committed a great blunder. BLUNDER, blunder মানে মারাত্মক ভুল, because he did not take care of his mother. No religion allows us, to disregard our parents, to disrespect our parents. No religion, forget about your religious identity. পৃথিবীর কোন ধর্ম আপনাকে অনুমতি দেবে না যে আপনি আপনার মা বাপকে সম্মান করবেন না। So from this point of view, he committed a great blunder. Though the warden did not blame him, but he was thinking, warden, the officer in charge of the old home, he did not blame him actually. কিন্তু সে মনে মনে ভাবছে আমাকে মনে হয় ব্লেম করছে। Why? কেন সে মনে মনে ভাবছে? Because চোরের মন পুলিশ পুলিশ বললাম না। The man who has committed a blunder, committed an offense, যে অপরাধ করে, he is always afraid of the police. He is always suspicious. সে সব সময় সন্দেহ প্রবণ হয়। কি জানি কি হয়ে গেল, আমাকে কেউ মনে হয় সন্দেহ করলো, এরকম। যাই হোক, there is no need to excuse yourself, my boy. I have looked up the record and obviously you are not in a position to see that she was properly cared for. She needed someone to be with her all the time. And young men in jobs like yours don't get too much pay. In any case, she was much happier in the home. Look, inna lillah. মানে কত আমি বলবো ironical expression. The warden, the officer in charge of the old home, she is saying now, sorry, he was saying, since Mr. Marshall had a feeling that the warden was blaming him, এটা বুঝতে পেরে এই কথাটা ওয়ার্ডেন বলে, he is consoling him, he is making him feeling tranquil, যে তুমি feel free to talk to me, you don't need to be nervous, it is not your fault that you could not take care of your mother because you have a small job and you are not paid too much, so you are not able to afford the expenditure of your mother's livelihood. For this reason you kept your mother here, and I think your mother was much happier in the home. তোমার মায়ের যত্ন তুমি নিতে পারো নাই, তবে টেনশন করো না, আমার মনে হয় যে তোমার মা এখানে খুব সুখেই ছিল। Look at this sentence here. In any case, she was much happier in the home. কোন মা, পৃথিবীর কোন মা তার ছেলের কাছে না থাকতে পেরে বৃদ্ধাশ্রমে খুব ভালো থাকে? পৃথিবীর কেউ বিশ্বাস করবে? যার গায়ে রক্ত মাংস আছে সে কি বিশ্বাস করবে? কোন মানুষ কি সেটা বিশ্বাস করবে? কোন মানুষ, একজন মানুষ যদি think about yourself, will you believe that your mother will feel happier in old home rather than living with you? আপনার সাথে থাকার চাইতে সে বৃদ্ধাশ্রমে হ্যাপিয়ার ফিল করবে, এটা আপনি বুঝতে পারেন? So forget about religious identity. No religion will allow the parents to be in the old home if they have children who can afford the livelihood, the expenditure of the livelihood of the parents. কোন ধর্ম এটা অনুমতি দেবে না। This kind of this is an ironical statement made by Albert Camus. I said, yes, sir, I am sure of that. Look, then he added, she had good friends here, old folks like herself, and one gets on better with people of one's own generation. You are much too young. You couldn't have been much of a companion to her. তোমার মা এখানে খুব ভালো ছিল, কারণ তোমার মায়ের মতো বয়সী এখানে অনেকেই ছিল, তোমার বয়স তো অল্প, তুমি তো তোমার মায়ের সাথে আর কি বা করবে, তোমার মা তোমার সাথে থাকলে হয়তো ভালোই থাকতো না, because you are not like her age. Okay, তারপরে, that was so. When we lived together, mother was always watching me, but we hardly ever talked. Look, we hardly ever talked. Marshall বলছে, this is being said by Marshall. He is saying that was so. এটা আসলে সেরকমই ছিল. When we lived together, mother was always watching me, but we hardly ever talked. যখন একসাথে থাকতাম তখন মা আমার দিকে চাইতো, আমরা কথা বলতাম না বললেই চলে। During her first few weeks at the home, she used to cry a good deal, but that was only because she had not settled down. After a month or two, she would have cried if she had been told to leave the home. Allahu Akbar Kabira. Because this too would have been a wrench. That was why during the last year, I seldom went to see her. Inna lillah. Also, it would have meant losing my Sunday, not to mention the trouble of going to the bus, getting my ticket and spending 2 hours on the journey each day. Look, বলছে যে when we live together we could hardly talk to each other. আমরা কথাই বলতাম না বললে চলে। যখন তাকে বৃদ্ধাশ্রমে রাখা হয়, প্রথম সে কান্না করত। আমার মা প্রথম কান্না করত। এই জন্য না যে আমার সাথে থাকতে পারে না, এই জন্য সে কান্নাকাটি করছে। আসলে she could not settle down at first. সে প্রথমে সেটেল ডাউন করতে পারে নাই, নিজেকে খাপ খাওয়াতে পারে নাই। she could not adapt herself with the situation, but after a month or two, 1-2 মাস পরেই she would have cried if she had not been told to leave the home. she had been told to leave the home. বরং 1-2 মাস যখন হয়ে গেল, তখন যদি তাকে বলা হতো যে তুমি you leave the old home, তাহলে সে কাঁদতো যে না আমি ওল্ড হোম ছেড়ে চলে যাব না। একজন ছেলে কেমন কথা বলে, আল্লাহু আ'লাম, আল্লাহ ভালো জানে। Because this too would have been a wrench. That was why during the last year I seldom went to see her. এজন্য আমি তাকে দেখতে আসিনি বললেই চলে। আপনারা জানেন সকলেই seldom, hardly, barely, nearly এই শব্দগুলো যে বাক্যে থাকে সেটা নাবোধক অর্থ দেয়। few, little. I seldom went to see her. আমি তাকে দেখতে আসতাম না বললেই চলে। Also it would have meant losing my Sunday, not to mention the trouble of going to the bus, getting my ticket and spending 2 hours on the journey each day. That means I did not need to come to her to see her, because she felt very happy with the people she lived here in the old home. The warden went on talking, but I did not pay much attention. Finally, he said, now I suppose you would like to see your mother. Now I suppose you would like to see your mother. I rose without replying, and he led the way to the door. As we were going down the stairs, he explained. দুইজন তাকে তার মাকে দেখাতে নিয়ে যাচ্ছে। যাওয়ার সময় ওয়ার্ডেন বলছে, I have had the body moved to our little mortuary so as not to upset that other old people. You understand. Look, every time there is a death here, they are in a nervous state for 2 or 3 days, which means, of course, extra work and worry for our staff. I think this is very easy to understand. It is not written, I mean, translated in complicated or difficult language. তারা দুজন যখন যাচ্ছিল নিচতলায়, তো বলতেছিল যে to our little mortuary. Mortuary means the place where the dead people are kept. যেখানে রাখা হয়, সেখানে তোমার মা মারা যাওয়ার পরেই আমরা তোমার মাকে তার রুম থেকে সরাই দিয়েছি, বিকজ এজন্য যে অন্যান্য বৃদ্ধাশ্রমে অন্য যারা আছে তারা যদি তোমার মাকে দেখে, they will also feel nervous because all of them are I mean more are at their old age now. We crossed a courtyard where there were a number of old men talking amongst themselves in little groups. আমি যাওয়ার সময় দেখলাম যে অনেক মানুষ গ্রুপে কথা বলছে, মানে অন্যান্য যারা বৃদ্ধাশ্রমে থাকে তারা। They fell silent as we came up with them. তারা সব নিশ্চুপ হয়ে গেল যখন আমরা তাদের কাছে আসলাম। Then behind our backs the chattering began again. Their voices reminded me of parakeets in a cage. Only the sound was not quite so shrill. The warden stopped outside the entrance of his small low building. ছোট্ট একটা বিল্ডিং এর কাছে দাঁড়ালো। এগুলো বেশি ইম্পর্টেন্ট না। So here I leave you, Monsieur Marshall. If you want me for anything, you will find me in my office. এখানে রেখে বলে যাচ্ছে যে আমি তোমাকে এখানে ছেড়ে যাচ্ছি, এরপরে আমি আর যাব না, তুমি তোমার মাকে দেখে নাও। If you need anything, come to my office. We propose to have the funeral tomorrow morning. That will enable you to spend the night beside your mother's coffin, as no doubt you would wish to do. Just one more thing. I gathered from your mother's friends that she wished to be buried with the rites of the church. I have made arrangements for this, but I thought I should let you know. বলছে যে তোমার মা মৃত্যু হওয়ার আগে বলেছিল যে চার্চের ওই পাশে আমাকে যেন খবরটা দেয়া হয়। আমি সেটা করেছি, বাট আই শুড লেট ইউ নো, আমি তোমাকে জানানো দরকার। এবং ফিউনারেলটা আগামীকাল সকালে হবে। সে পর্যন্ত আশা করি তুমি তোমার মায়ের পাশেই থাকবে। দেখেন কি করে, জাস্ট লেট আস লুক। I thanked him. So far as I knew, my mother, though not a professed atheist, had never given a thought to religion in her life. Look, কি বলছে এখানে, I thanked him, আমি তাকে ধন্যবাদ দিলাম। So far as I knew, my mother, though not a professed atheist, যদিও সে নাস্তিক ছিল না, had never given a thought to religion in her life. Even সে তার জীবনে ধর্মের প্রতিও এত আকৃষ্ট ছিল না, ধর্মকর্ম এত করে না, যদিও সে নাস্তিক ছিল না, কিন্তু সে ধর্মকর্ম এত করেনি, এটা মানে এটা করেনি, এটাও সত্য। I entered the mortuary. It was a bright, spotlessly clean room with whitewashed walls and a big skylight. The furniture consisted of some chairs and trestles. Two of the latter stood open in the center of the room, and the coffin rested on them. The lid was in place, but the screws had been given only a few turns, and their nickeled heads stuck out above the wood, which was stained dark walnut. An Arab woman, a nurse, I supposed, was sitting beside the bier. She was wearing a blue smock and had a rather gaudy scarf wound around her hair. Look, my mother's coffin was there, and an Arab woman was also sitting beside her. Then he has also described what kind of dress the Arab woman was wearing at the time. এগুলো বেশি important না. Just then the keeper came up behind me. He had evidently been running, as he was a little out of breath. মানে সে দৌড়িয়ে আমার কাছে আসলো, মনে হচ্ছে যে দীর্ঘশ্বাস নিতে নিতে আসছে। We put the lid on, but I was told to unscrew it when you came so that you could see her. Unscrew এখানে ওই বলা হচ্ছে যে স্ক্রু মেরে রাখা হয়েছে, অর্থাৎ তার কফিনটা যেখানে রাখা হয়েছে সেখানে হয়তো কাপড়ের সাথে কিছু স্ক্রু মেরে রাখা হয়েছে। Unscrew means open the coffin so that you can see her. While he was going up to the coffin, I told him not to trouble. Eh, what is that? He exclaimed. You don't want me to? No, I said. Look, you don't want me to open and unscrew? ওই ভদ্রলোক, যে ভদ্রলোকটা আসলো কফিনটা খুলে তার মাকে দেখানোর জন্য, সে বলল যে দরকার নাই, নো নিড। তখন বলল, you don't want me to unscrew, to open the coffin? No, I said. আমি বললাম না, দরকার নাই। Look at these sentences. While he was going up to the coffin, I told him not to trouble, to take trouble. দরকার কি এত কষ্ট করার আপনার? Eh, what is that? He exclaimed. সে বলল যে আরে কি বলেন, আপনি দেখবেন না, আপনার মাকে দেখবেন না? You don't want me to after two there is 3 dots, means to unscrew, to unfold, to open the coffin of your mother. No, I say. আমি বললাম যে দরকার নাই, দেখে টেকে কি হবে? Look, দেখে টেকে কি হবে? No, I said. কিভাবে বলছে যে আমি আর মাকে দেখতে চাই না? মা মারা গিয়েছে, দেখার দরকার কি? আমরা তো মনে হয় গত ক্লাসে জেনেও ছিলাম যে মা মারা গিয়েছে, সেটা দেখে টেকে এসে পরের দিন সে সিনেমাও দেখতে যায় সিনেমা হলে, এবং তার গার্লফ্রেন্ডকে সাথে করে। যাই হোক, সেগুলো তো অন্য কথা, আস্তে আস্তে। He put back the screwdriver in his pocket and stared at me. Look, stared at মানে একভাবে তাকিয়ে থাকা। সে স্ক্রুড্রাইভার যেটা দিয়ে খুলতে চাইছিল সেটা পিছনে রেখে দিল ওই লোকটা, এবং আমার দিকে এক দৃশ্যে তাকিয়ে থাকলো। I realized then that I shouldn't have said no, and it made me rather embarrassed. After eyeing me for some moments, he asked. চিন্তা করেন যে স্ক্রুড্রাইভারটা পিছনে রেখে সে আমার দিকে একভাবে তাকায় থাকলো। Stared at me, মানে এই ধরনের লোক তো সে কখনো দেখে নাই। Are you not, মানে it seems that the man was trying to ask him, are you not a human being? Was not this, I mean, did not this dead mother bear you at her home for 10 months? তুমি কি কোনো মানুষ না? তোমার এই মৃত মা কি তোমাকে 10 মাস 10 দিন গর্ভে ধারণ করেনি? মানে এরকম কিছু জিজ্ঞাসা করতে চাইছে মনে হয়। সে বলছে, I realized, I means Marshall, I realized then that I shouldn't have said no. আমি বুঝতে পারলাম যে আমার নো বলাটা ঠিক হয়নি, and it made me rather embarrassed. বরং এটা বলাটাই আমার কাছে আমাকে embarrass করেছে। After eyeing me for some moments, he asked. মানে eyeing me মানে after staring at me for some time, he asked, why not? But he didn't sound reproachful. He simply wanted to know. সে জানতে চাইলো মানে কেন তুমি দেখবে না তোমার মাকে? Well, really I couldn't say. I answered. আমি বলতে পারবো না। আমি আমার মাকে কেন দেখতে চাই না, এটা আমি বলতে পারবো না। সরি। কেন দেখতে চাই না এটা বলতেও পারবো না। চিন্তা করেন কতটুকু মানে nihilistic I mean statement is to disregard the religious and moral principles. এমন কে আছে পৃথিবীতে সে যে ধর্মই করুক না কেন যে তার মায়ের মৃত্যুর পরে মাকে দেখতে চাবে না। বাট দিস ম্যান ফর দিস রিজন হি ইজ অ্যান আউটসাইডার। এই সবকিছুর জন্যই কিন্তু উনি আউটসাইডার। এজন্য আপনাদেরকে I may ask you to justify the title of the novella in the exam. To justify the title of the novella. নভেলার যে টাইটেলটা এটাকে জাস্টিফাই করতে হবে। আউটসাইডার নামটা কেন হলো? আউটসাইডার মিন্স বিকজ হি ইজ নট এ মেম্বার অফ দি ট্র্যাডিশনাল সোসাইটি। ট্র্যাডিশনাল ঐতিহ্যগত যে সমাজ, সে সমাজের একজন সদস্য বলে তাকে মনে হয় না। যাই হোক, হি began twiddling his white mustache, then without looking at me said gently, I understand. মানে আমার দিকে না তাকায় সে বলল, আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে। বড় বড় মুস নাড়াচ্ছে আর বলছে, I understand. ঠিক আছে, আমি বুঝতে পারছি। He did not understand. He could not understand, but he said that I understand. Okay, থাক স্যার, আমি বুঝতে পারছি। আপনি কেন দেখবেন না? আসলে he did not get the point, I think. He was a pleasant looking man with blue eyes and ruddy cheeks. Allahu Akbar. He drew up a chair for me near the coffin and seated himself just behind. The nurse got up and moved toward the door. As she was going by, the keeper whispered in my ear, it is a tumor she has, poor thing. I looked at her more carefully and I noticed that she had a bandage around her head just below her eyes. It lay quite flat across the bridge of her nose, and one saw hardly anything of her face except that strip of whiteness. মানে তার মৃত অবস্থায় কফিনটা না খুলেই দেখছে তার মাথায় it is a tumor she has, poor thing. ছোট্টখাট্ট একটা জিনিস, তার একটা টিউমার ছিল এবং এটা ওই দেখলো যে I noticed that she had a bandage around her head. তার মাথার চারপাশে একটা ব্যান্ডেজ আছে, আপনারা বুঝতে পারছেন। As soon as she had gone, the keeper rose. Now I will leave you to yourself. বললো যে ঠিক আছে, আমি এখন তোমাকে তো একই অবস্থায় রেখেছি। I don't know whether I made some gesture, but instead of going, he halted behind my chair. মানে যাওয়া বাদ দিয়ে সে আমার চেয়ারের পিছনে দাঁড়ায় গেল। The sensation of someone posted at my back made me uncomfortable. The sensation of someone posted at my back made me uncomfortable. The sun was getting low and the whole room was flooded with a pleasant mellow light. Two hornets were buzzing overhead against the skylight. I was so sleepy I could hardly keep my eyes open. Without looking round, I asked the keeper how long he had been at the home. 5 years. The answer came so pat that one could have thought he had been expecting my question. Okay, তাহলে ওখানে সে সারাক্ষণ বসে থাকলো, কিন্তু দেখেন একটা কথা যে বসে থাকতেছে, he was not able to sit beside the dead body and he was feeling sleepy. নিজের মায়ের লাশের পাশে সে কিভাবে ঘুম আসে, তারপরে গাড়িতে বসে কিভাবে ঘুমায়, এটা আসলে বোঝার কথা না। এবং for this reason he is an outsider, এটা মনেও রাখতে হবে আমাদের। যাই হোক, that started him off and he became quite chatty. If anyone had told him 10 years ago that he would end his days as doorkeeper at a home at Marengo, he would never have believed it. He would never have believed it. He was 64, he said, and hailed from Paris. এটা one of the friends of his mother. His mother had a good relationship with another man. He was 64 years old and he said he hailed from Paris. এবং সে এসেছিল প্যারিস থেকে। এরকম একজন বন্ধু তার ছিল, তার নামটাও আমরা পরে জানতে পারবো। When he said that, I broke in. You don't come from here? You don't come from here? When he said that, I broke in. Break in মানে দ্রুত দরজা ভেঙে ভিতরে প্রবেশ করা। I remembered then that before taking me to the warden, he had told me something about mother. He had said she had she would have to be buried mighty quickly because of the heat in these parts, especially down in the plain. গরমের সময় তাকে দ্রুত দাফন করতে হবে, এই ব্যাপারে তাকে বলা হয়েছিল। At Paris they keep the body for 3 days, sometimes 4. কখনো কখনো 3 থেকে 4 দিন ডেড বডিটা রাখা হয় প্যারিসে। After that he had mentioned that he had spent the best part of his life in Paris and could never manage to forget it. Here he had said, things have to go with a rush, like you have hardly time to get used to the idea that someone is dead. Before you are hauled off to the funeral, that's enough. His wife had put it. You didn't ought to say his wife. Whose wife? The man who told him about his who asked him about his mother's uh, condition when she was with him. Here his wife, the word his refers to the man who asked something about his mother, about Marcel's mother, to Marcel. You didn't ought to say such things to the poor young gentleman. The old fellow had blushed and begun to apologize. I told him it was quite all right. As a matter of fact, I found it rather interesting. What she had been telling me, I had not thought of that before. সে আমাকে আমার মা সম্পর্কে বলছে এবং আমার মা এখানে কেমন ভাবে চলাফেরা করছে, কার সাথে কি সম্পর্ক ছিল। I didn't have any idea about that, but he was telling me that. এগুলো বেশি ইম্পর্টেন্ট না। আমরা নিহিলিজম, অ্যাবসার্ডিজম এবং আরেকটা যেন কি হিউম্যানিজম রিলেটেড যে স্টেটমেন্ট গুলো পাবো সেগুলো আমরা আন্ডারলাইন করার চেষ্টা করব। So all of you are with me or not? I am not asking you anything today. আপনারা কি আমার সাথে আছেন?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This kind of class actually I don't conduct. Time and again I I keep asking you questions, but today I am not asking you anything. I will advise all of you to read the texts.
It is good to be different sometimes.
Thank you. But I am also feeling boring because I am already reading. The class should have been conducted face to face. Then we could enjoy more. I think I am right in my opinion, in my statement. Now he went on to say that he had entered the home as an ordinary inmate. এটা হচ্ছে ওই ব্যক্তি সম্পর্কে যখন just let me tell you something that the warden left Mr. Marshall to his mother, and with Marshall there was another man who was sitting beside him. তাদের মধ্যে গল্প হচ্ছে রাতে একাকী জেগে থাকবে মায়ের পাশে, এজন্য ওই বৃদ্ধাশ্রমে চাকরি করে another officer, not officer, maybe চতুর্থ শ্রেণীর কর্মচারী তার সাথে সঙ্গ দিচ্ছে এবং সে বলতেছে যে he had entered the home as an ordinary inmate. খুব সাধারণ একজন মানুষ হিসেবে সে এখানে চাকরিতে জয়েন করে, but he was still quite hale and hearty. Hale and hearty মানে সুস্থ, এটা একটা ফ্রেজ আপনারা জানেন। Hale and hearty মানে well. And when the keeper's job fell vacant, he offered to take it on. So he is the keeper of one of the keepers in the old home. মানে কি বলে এটা guard, one of the guards of the old home. কিপারের চাকরি করে। I pointed out that even so, he was really an inmate like the others, but he would not hear of it. He was an official like. I had been struck before by his habit of saying they, or less often them, old folks, when referring to inmates no older than himself. Still, I could see his point of view. As doorkeeper, he had a certain standing and some authority over the rest of them. থাকতেই পারে। বলা হচ্ছে যে আমার মনে হলো যে most of the people over there who are living there are old in age, but this man was not old enough, but he had some authority. He practiced some power on the old people who are living in the old home. Just then the nurse returned. এবারে নার্স চলে আসলো। Night had fallen very quickly. All of a sudden, it seemed the sky went black above the skylight. The keeper switched on the lamps, and I was almost blinded by the blaze of light. The night had fallen very quickly. রাত নেমে আসলো খুব দ্রুত, অনেক রাত হয়ে গেল এবং ল্যাম্প ট্যাম্প গুলো সুইচ অন করে দেয়া হলো। I was almost blinded by the blaze of light. He suggested I should go to the refectory for dinner, but I was not hungry. Then he proposed bringing me a mug of cafe or late, French language, as I am very partial to cafe or late. I said thanks. And a few minutes later, he came back with a tray. I drank the coffee and then I wanted a cigarette. Look at this, underline these lines. I drank the coffee and then I wanted a cigarette, but I was not sure if I should smoke under the circumstances in mother's presence. I thought it over. I thought it over. Really, it did not seem to matter. So I offered the keeper a cigarette and we both smoked. Can you imagine? মায়ের লাশের পাশে বসে চাও খেলো আবার স্মোকিংও করলো। শুনতেছেন আপনারা? আর ইউ
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Underline this paragraph. This is very, very important for the themes like nihilism. Why he should have smoked, even sitting before the dead body of his mother, because he is an outsider. He thinks that he does not belong to the society, to the members of the society. He is not a member of the society he lived in. For this reason, he is outsider. And for this reason, the novella has been named Outsider or The Stranger. We will call it Outsider. এজন্য তো এটার নাম দেওয়া হয়েছে আউটসাইডার। আউটসাইডার মানে সে সমাজের কোনো ব্যক্তি নয়, এজন্য তো এরকম। একেবারে অনেক ভালো, খুবই ভালো একটা নভেলা। ওকে, সো I thought it of her. The মায়ের উপস্থিতিতে, look at in mother's presence, মায়ের উপস্থিতিতে কি সিগারেট খাওয়া যাবে? মানে মেবি he did not smoke when his mother was beside him. মা যখন পাশে থাকতো মনে হয় সে সিগারেট কখনো খায়নি। আপনারা বলতে পারেন, আমি জানি না আপনাদের কোনো ভিন্ন মত আছে কিনা। কেউ হয়তো বলতেই পারেন যে না, মা ইন মাদার্স প্রেজেন্স বলতে সে বোঝাতে চেয়েছে মা যখন জীবিত ছিল তখন when he stayed beside his mother, when his mother was alive, he did not smoke, and it is a kind of showing respect to his mother. এটাও বলতে পারেন, ভালো দিক যে মায়ের উপস্থিতিতে মা যখন জীবিত ছিল, এমনও তো হতে পারে যে জীবিত থাকা অবস্থায় he did not smoke before his mother. মায়ের সামনে সে কখনো সিগারেট খায়নি। অবশ্যই এটা একটা ভদ্রতা, সব ধর্মে এটা এই ভদ্রতা তার থাকার কথা বা আছে। তো এই জন্য সে মায়ের উপস্থিতিতে খাবে এটা ভাবছে। But he offered the keeper a cigarette and they both smoked. তারা দুইজনই খেলো। এই লাইনগুলো দাগায় রাখবে, underline this paragraph. After a while he started talking again. একটু পরে সে আবার কথা বলা শুরু করলো। You know your mother's friends will be coming soon to keep vigil with you beside the body. We always have a vigil here when anyone dies. What is vigil? V-I-G-I-L. Vigil has been put here under, inverted comma. It's something special. Vigil. Vigil means V-I-G-I-L. Vigil. At 1 minute. Here, actually, the one meaning of the word vigil is politics, but here there is another meaning according to Christianity, the eve of a festival or holiday as an occasion of religious observance. That is funeral. Vigil means funeral here. Okay. To keep vigil with you beside the body, we always have a vigil here when anyone dies. I had better go and get some chairs and a pot of black coffee. Mashallah. Shokolei boshe, look, the man is saying, the man means the keeper of the old home. He is saying to Marshall that after few hours, your mother's friends are coming. So I should go back to the office now, or to my place now, and get some chairs for them to sit on and a pot of black coffee. That means all the friends who are coming will drink coffee, keeping the dead body before them. I don't know whether, as far as I know, the Muslims don't do this. Keeping the dead body before them, no Muslims smoke cigarette. But I don't have any idea about Christianity and Hinduism. And as far as I mean, know, or as far as I can assume, I mean, no people who follow religion, any religion, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, Sufism, Christianity, I mean, will feel happy, will feel happy to smoke cigarette or to drink coffee before a dead body. I think not. The glare of the white walls was making my eyes smart, and I asked him if he could not turn off one of the lamps. Nothing doing, he said. They had arranged the lights like that. Either on had them all on or none at all. After that, I did not pay much more attention to him. He went out, brought some chairs, and set them out round the coffin. On he placed a coffee pot and 10 or a dozen cups. Then he sat down facing me on this far side of mother. The nurse was at the other end of the room with her back to me. I couldn't see what she was doing, but by the way her arms moved, I guessed that she was knitting. I was feeling very comfortable. The coffee had warmed me up, and look at the expression. The coffee had warmed me up. প্রথম দিকে যেটা বলে আসলো যে আমি তাকে বললাম যে একটা বাতি কি নিভানো যায়, আমি একটু ঘুমাই নেই। আমি ওই কিপারকে বললাম, কিপার বলল যে একটা নিভানো যাবে না, একটা নিভালে সব নিভে যাবে, আর একটা জ্বললে, এভাবে সিস্টেমটা করা। শেষের দিকে এসে বলছে, the coffee had warmed me up, and through the open door came scents of flowers and breaths of color night air. I think I dozed off for a while. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I was feeling very comfortable. A man whose mother is dead and the dead body is before him, and he was feeling comfortable. The coffee had warmed him up. কফিটা খেয়ে তার খুব ভালো লাগছে। And through the open door came scents of flowers and breaths of cool night air. মাশাআল্লাহ। দরজাটা খোলা, রাতের বেলা, খুব ভালো লাগছে, ফুলের গন্ধ আসছে, and he was enjoying the scents of flowers and breaths of the cool night. I think I dozed off for a while. আমার মনে হয় আমি একটু ঘুমিয়ে নেই। আহা। So for this reason, the novella has been named Outsider. If I ask you to justify the title of the novel, if you can refer, I mean, write some lines like this, I mean, textual reference, if you can give, your marks will be maximum, inshallah. Keep this in your mind. শুধুমাত্র thematic লিখলে একরকম marks, and if you become able to cite some textual references from the texts, your marks will be high. I was awakened by an odd rustling in my ears. ঘুমায় গিয়েছিল একটু আগে, he was sleeping. After having had my eyes closed, I had a feeling that the light had grown even stronger than before. আমি যখন চোখ বুজে ঘুম আসলাম, আমার কাছে মনে হচ্ছিল যে লাইট গুলো আরো বেশি তেজ সহকারে জ্বলছে আমার চোখের সামনে। There was not a trace of shadow anywhere, and every object, each curve or angle seemed to score its outline on one's eyes. The old people, mother's friends were coming in. I counted 10 in all, gliding almost soundlessly through the bleak white glare. None of the chairs creaked when they sat down. Never in my life had I seen anyone so clearly as I saw these people. Not a detail of their clothes or features escaped me, and yet I couldn't hear them, and it was hard to believe they really existed. কিছু বৃদ্ধ লোক আসলো, যে সমস্ত বৃদ্ধ লোককে আমি এত বৃদ্ধ অবস্থায় কখনো দেখার সুযোগ হয়নি, এবং they are very really good people, though I couldn't listen to what they were saying, what they are, I mean, gossiping with one another. Nearly all the women wore aprons, and the strings drawn tight round their waists made their big stomachs buckle still more. I had never yet noticed what big punches old women usually have. Most of the men, however, were as thin as rakes, and they all carried sticks. Allahu Akbar. What struck me most about their faces was that one couldn't see their eyes. One couldn't see their eyes, only a dull glow in a sort of nest of wrinkles. Mane, I think you have got the point. Most of men, however, were as thin as rakes, and they all carried sticks. সবাই লাঠির উপরে ভর করে আমার মায়ের বিছানার পাশে এসে বসলো, লাঠির উপরে ভর করে। দ্যাট মিন দে হ্যাড স্টিক্স উইথ দেম। সকলেই তো বৃদ্ধ মানুষ, এবং তারা সকালবেলা সকলে তার মায়ের বডি, ডেড বডির কাছে আসলো, এবং রিঙ্কলস, তাদের রিঙ্কলস মানে এ কাইন্ড অফ কি যেন বলা হয়, ভাঁজ, যেটা চামড়ার উপরে পড়ে, সকলের মুখেই, সকলের শরীরে সেটা পড়ে গেছে। এবং আমার মনে হয় যে তাদের ভিতরে একজন, সে ভালো করে দেখতেছিল না, দেখতেও পায়নি, কিন্তু সে আমার মায়ের বন্ধু। On sitting down, they looked at me and ogged their heads awkwardly, their lips sucked in between their toothless gums. Toothless gums, একটু মনে করতে হবে আর কি, এটা একটা ইমেজারি, যে ওই মানুষের যখন দাঁত পড়ে যায় তখন মানুষ সব সময় একটু মুখে মনে হয় যে কি যেন খাচ্ছে, ওভাবে চিবাইতে থাকে। আসলে মুখে কিছুই নাই। জাস্ট থিঙ্ক অ্যাবাউট দ্য সিচুয়েশন। মোস্ট অফ ইউ হ্যাভ সিন দিস কাইন্ড অফ পিপল ইন ইউর লাইফ। আপনারা সকলেই হয়তো এরকম মানুষ দেখেছেন। অনেক মানুষ আছে দাঁত পড়ে গেছে, একেবারে অতি বৃদ্ধ, মনে হয় যে তারা সবসময় কিছু না কিছু চাবায়, আসলে দে চু নাথিং, তারা কিছু চিবায় না, এরকম মনে হয়। টুথলেস মানে দাঁত নাই তো একজনের। I could not decide if they were greeting me and trying to say something, or if it was due to some infirmity of age. মানে আমি বুঝতে পারছিলাম না যে তারা আমাকে আসলে গ্রিট করছে, নাকি তাদের এই যে বয়সের আধিক্যতা, এর কারণে এটা তাদের মানে মানে কি বলে হ্যাবিচুয়াল কোনো কি বলে জেস্টার ছিল কিনা। I inclined to think that they were greeting me after their fashion, but it had a queer effect, seeing all those old fellows grouped round the keeper, solemnly eyeing me and dangling their heads from side to side. For a moment, I had an absurd impression that they had come to sit in judgment on me. Okay, তারা কি জন্য আসছে এটা আমরা আর একটা প্যারাগ্রাফ আজকে পড়ব, because I have to take preparation. I mean, I have to do some activities related to the upcoming get together. A few minutes later, one of the women started weeping. Look, listen to this paragraph. A few minutes later, one of the women started weeping. একটু পরেই একজন বৃদ্ধ মহিলা কাঁদতে থাকলো। She was in the second row and I could not see her face because of another woman in front. 10 জন আসছে তো, সারিবদ্ধভাবে বসছে, দ্বিতীয় সারিতে তার বসা ছিল। At regular intervals, she emitted a little choking sob. Sob মানে হচ্ছে ফুপিয়ে ফুপিয়ে কাঁদা, ফুপিয়ে ফুপিয়ে কাঁদা, শব্দ বেশি না করে অল্প করে করে কাঁদা। One had a feeling she would never stop. The others didn't seem to notice. They sat in silence, slumped in their chairs, staring at the coffin or at their walking sticks or any object just in front of them, and never took their eyes off it. And still the woman sobbed. ওই মহিলাটা ফুপিয়ে ফুপিয়ে কাঁদতেই আছে। I was rather surprised, as I didn't know who she was. I wanted her to stop crying, but dared not to speak to her. After a while, the keeper bent toward her and whispered in her ear, but she merely shook her head, mumbled something I couldn't catch, and went on sobbing as steadily as before. দেখি তো এই মহিলা কি করে, সে কাঁদতেই থাকলো। ওই আমার মনে হচ্ছিল, সে মার্শাল ইজ সেইং দ্যাট, তার মনে হচ্ছিল যে আমি গিয়ে তাকে নিষেধ করি, কিন্তু আমার সাহস হচ্ছিল না। এক সময় কিপার গিয়ে তাকে কাঁদতে নিষেধ করলো হয়তো, বাট she went on sobbing. সে ফুপিয়ে ফুপিয়ে কাঁদতে আছে। The keeper got up and moved his chair beside mine. At first he kept silent, then without looking at me he explained. এবারে কিপার তার চেয়ারটা আমার কাছে এনে দিল ওই বৃদ্ধ মহিলার। সে আমার কাছে ব্যাখ্যা করতে লাগলো কি, she was devoted to your mother. He explained. কে? ওই the keeper explained about the lady who was sobbing. ফুপিয়ে ফুপিয়ে যে কাঁদছে তার ব্যাপারে বলতেছিল কিপারটা মার্সল্টের কাছে। she was devoted to your mother. সে তোমার মায়ের খুবই কাছের একজন মানুষ ছিল। she says your mother was her only friend in the world and now she is all alone. আহা, সে বলে যে তো এই পৃথিবীতে তোমার মাই ছিল এই বৃদ্ধ মহিলার একমাত্র বন্ধু, নাও সে একেবারে একা হয়ে গেল, এজন্য সে কাঁদছে। I had nothing to say and the silence lasted quite a while. Presently the woman's sighs and sobs became less frequent, and after blowing her nose and snuffling for some minutes, she too fell silent. মানে একটু পরে সে আস্তে আস্তে তার কাঁদার ঘনত্বটা কমে আসলো এবং সে আস্তে আস্তে স্টপ হয়ে গেল, আর কাঁদলো না। মানুষ তো বেশি দিন ধরে কাঁদেও না। I had ceased feeling sleepy, but I was very tired and my legs were aching badly. মানে আমি যে ক্লান্তি অনুভব করতেছিলাম, আমার ক্লান্তিটা কেটে গেল। And now I realized that the silence of these people was telling on my nerves. The only sound was a rather queer one. It came only now and then, and at first I was puzzled by it. However, after listening attentively, I guessed what it was. The old men were sucking at the sides of their cheeks, and this caused the odd wheezing noises that had mystified me. What is it? মানে সে এক ধরনের সাউন্ড শুনতে পেল, কিন্তু কোত্থেকে যে সাউন্ডটা আসছে সে বুঝতে পারতেছিল না। কিন্তু তখন পরে বুঝলো, I guess that it was the old men were sucking at the insides of their cheeks. তার মানে হচ্ছে, আমি বললাম না, তাদের টুথলেস গাম, দাঁত থাকে না, তারা এক ধরনের সাউন্ড করে অনেক সময় কিছু চিবায়। মনে হচ্ছিল যে সেই সাউন্ডটাই আমি শুনতেছিলাম। This is not important for us. Just let's go ahead. They were so much absorbed in their thoughts that they did not know what they were up to. I even had an impression that the dead body in their midst meant nothing at all to them, but now I suspect that I was mistaken about this. We all drank the coffee. Look again. We all drank the coffee which the keeper had handed round. After that, I can't remember much. Somehow the night went by. I can recall only one moment. I had opened my eyes and I saw the old man sleeping hunched up on their chairs, with one exception, resting his chin on his hands elapsed round his stick. He was staring hard at me as if he had been waiting for me to wake. Then I fell asleep again. I woke up after a bit because the ache in my legs had developed into a sort of cramp. কফি খাওয়ার পরে আবার একটু ঘুমায় গেল সবাই, ওখানে একটু রেস্ট নিয়ে। যখন সবাই রেস্ট নিচ্ছিল আমিও একটু ঘুমায় গেলাম। একটু পরে আমি জেগে উঠলাম, কারণ আমার পায়ে ব্যথা ছিল, সে ব্যথাটার কারণে আমি ঘুমাতে পারছিলাম না। সো আমার মনে হয় যে এই পর্যন্ত। প্লিজ, what is the page number? Page number is not given here. I will share this with you, and this is the, let me check. Page number 8. It is not a long novella, so nothing to worry. We will try our best to finish by the next 2 lectures, inshallah. Then we'll start another one. Up to this point, we have read today. We have gone through today.